Hey everybody! So today we are going to make a quick and easy peanut butter pie. There's no baking, there's no cracking eggs, there's really no measuring. I don't really measure, I just eyeball. But since today is my husband's birthday and his favorite pie is a peanut butter pie, simply because it's not too terribly sweet. I do use sugar substitute and sugar-free ingredients just because we're not too big on sweets in this family. So, I'm a little out of breath. I had to hop over the counter in order to turn the camera on. Alright, so first things first, I had some cream cheese coming to room temperature. It's about 8 ounces of cream cheese. You can use a third of the fat-free, whatever it is, completely fat-free, or just regular cream cheese. For this, I'm using just regular cream cheese because we're not big on, whether it's fat-free, a third of the fat, or whatever it is. So we've got that already in the bowl. I am going to eyeball the peanut butter. Usually you want about a cup of peanut butter, but again today I'm just eyeballing it because we love peanut butter. So if you have a little bit more than a cup, it's not a big deal. It's not like it's going to be the end of the world. So again, I'm just scraping it right out of the jar. And again, usually about a cup worth of peanut butter. You can use, if you don't want to use creamy peanut butter like what I'm using here, and you want to use the crunchy peanut butter, or if you have somebody who is allergic to peanuts, you can use the almond butter or the sunflower butter. I've tried the sunflower butter when I was a preschool teacher back before I had my son, and it doesn't taste too bad. Yeah, it tastes a little like sunflower seeds, but it was actually pretty good. But since we don't have any allergies in the family, well, except for my dietary restrictions, it's not much of an allergy, but it is what it is. Okay, so I have roughly a cup of peanut butter in here, maybe a little bit more. I'm not too terribly concerned about that. Okay, now next, I'm going to try and get through this quickly because I have my puppy dog outside wanting to come in. So I am using about a half a cup of Splenda, or the I often use the Food Line brand of the Splenda, or sugar substitute. You can use Truvia, stevia, monk fruit, regular sugar, sugar in the raw. You get it. There's so many different types of sugars out there. So I'm just going to sprinkle it over. Excuse me. I actually may not use all of this. I might actually only use 3/4 of it, just because, again, we're not too big on sweets. So, I mean, if you want to do about a 1/4 cup, or just a little over a 1/4 cup, not quite half a cup, that's fine. You can always add just a little bit, mix it together, and then if it's not sweet enough for you, you can always add more sugar. You can always add, but you can't subtract when it comes to baking. Alright, so it's going to get a little loud. I'm going to use my handheld electric mixer. I've got the cream cheese, sugar, and peanut butter in here. And we're going to do a quick mix, so I apologize for the noise. Get it all incorporated. You want it mixed pretty well. Now, it's going to be a little stiff because of the peanut butter, but that's going to change once we get the other ingredients in here. Okay, so I've got that. Whoops. Let's get this peanut butter off the blades. It's already smelling really good. Now this is safe for, you know, for the kids to consume since there's no raw eggs in it. And you can even get the kids involved with, you know, helping with the measuring. It's good for their mathematical skills, and you can also help them with the scooping, also all sorts of stuff to help with the fine and gross motor skills. I'm going to save these for the kids because I know that they're going to love it. Okay, I'm going to open up an entire tub of Cool Whip. This is the sugar-free Cool Whip, of course, because we've already added sugar in there. So if you don't want it too sweet, then go for the sugar-free. I'm going to hop off screen really quick to let the dog in because she's falling asleep out in the rain. Hold on. Good girl, Mama. Okay, I apologize about that. I don't like seeing my animals outside in the rain when it's cold and wet. So next, we're going to dump the entire tub. The entire tub. I know it looks like there's a lot in there, but it's going to actually help when putting the pie filling into the crust. And I'll talk about the crust here shortly. So, going to mix this in. Make sure you get as much as you can, if not all of it, because this is going to give the fluffiness, that creamy fluffiness. Okay, so you want to make sure that it's thawed out pretty well. Since it's the kitty cat's birthday too, I'll let her lick the whipped cream out of the bowl. Or the container, excuse me. So this is still a little frozen. Not a big deal, I'm just going to break it up a little bit. But you want to make sure that it's completely thawed. So if you have an unopened tub in the freezer, just pop it in the fridge overnight or in the fridge for an hour, or leave it on the counter for about 30 minutes. And it will be completely thawed. So this is going to take a little bit of time. You're going to want to fold the peanut butter into the whipped topping. And while I'm doing that, I'm going to talk about the crust with y'all. So you can go ahead and get a pre-made crust. We like to use the Oreo crust just because peanut butter and chocolate, you know, you can't go wrong with that. It's like the perfect combination. No, kitty, no, no. So yeah, just you can use a store-bought pre-made Oreo crust, or you can make your own. Ooh, that sounds like fun, right? So who doesn't like making their own crust? Especially if you already have the ingredients, why go out and buy something that's pre-made when you have stuff sitting in your pantry and it's going stale? Use those stale Oreo cookies to make the crust. I've seen some recipes where it says to, you know, break the Oreo cookies apart, scrape out the guts, you know, the cream filling. That's like the best part, right? And incorporate that along with some butter into a blender and just blend it all together until you get like little crumbs that you can mold into the pie pan. I'm saying forget that noise. Just go ahead and dump the entire cookie, cream filling and all, into a blender. Or if you don't have a blender, use the rolling pin. If you don't have a rolling pin, then you can use a meat tenderizer. The meat tenderizer has a smooth side along with two non-smooth sides. Excuse me. And just use that to smash the cookies in a Ziploc bag. Okay. Again, I eyeball the cookies. I don't really measure the cookies out, simply because it all depends on the size of the pie pan that you're going to be using. So, and whether it's like a double stuffed Oreo cookie or if it's just a regular stuffed Oreo cookie. Okay, so I have this pretty well incorporated. There's still some sections that you can still see, like chunks of peanut butter or chunks of the whipped topping, because ding ding me, I did not defrost the Cool Whip in time. Go figure, right? But anyways, here or there. I am actually going to be using gluten-free Oreo cookies simply because of my dietary restrictions, and I don't want to be restricted in not eating something that I've made for my husband. Yes, peanuts are not really friendly to me, but you know what? I gotta splurge a little bit. So I'm going to take the entire gluten-free Oreo cookies, which made me so happy seeing that Oreo came out with gluten-free double stuffed Oreos. So I'm going to use those, and I'll probably use maybe half a pack just to see how much that gets me. And I'm going to use the cream filling as the binder for the cookies, so that way it's not just cookies and it just crumbles and it's not going to stick together. But if it doesn't quite stick together and form into the pie pan, feel free to put it all back into the blender and take maybe about 2 tablespoons of melted butter or the melted coconut oil or ghee or whichever ingredient you prefer to use. Preferably not oil, like vegetable oil, canola oil, peanut oil. That defeats the purpose. You want it to be like a butter type consistency, or like the coconut oil. If you have a dairy allergy, I don't think Cool Whip doesn't come out with it, but I've got it here in my fridge. If you have a dairy allergy, then use dairy-free cream cheese, and I highly recommend the So Delicious, I'm gonna get closer, the So Delicious Cocoa Whip. It's pretty much the same as the Cool Whip, except it's made from coconut milk. It's really good. Even my husband liked eating it the last time I used it in the peanut butter pie. He really could not tell. So that's what I would recommend if you're going dairy-free, especially if you have to add, if you have a dairy allergy and you're wanting to do like the cookie crust, you might have to find specialty cookies that are dairy-free at your local supermarket. I don't know if Wegmans has it, maybe Amazon might have it, but try and look for it. Whoops, as I'm flinging stuff over the counter. But yeah, just look into it, see what you can find. If it's not that huge of a deal to your system, if it's not going to send you to the hospital, but it's just going to make you uncomfortable, then I would just do as much dairy-free as possible. And, you know, if you have to have a little bit of dairy in the cookie crust, so be it. But that's about it. Once you've got the cookie crust molded into your pie pan, you have the filling all incorporated. You just dump the filling into the cookie crust and you just smooth it over, and it's done. Just stick it in the fridge, stick it in the freezer if you want to save it for another day. And if you want to drizzle some chocolate over it, then you can use like the Hershey's chocolate syrup. You can melt your own chocolate. There's just so many ways that you can do it. You can make your own ganache, and just once you have the pie frozen and you have the ganache made, let the ganache cool a little bit and then pour it over the frozen pie. So good, so good. But there's so many different ways that you can do it, and this is just one way. But if you if you want to try it another way, if you have any suggestions for me, feel free to leave them in the comments, and I will be more than happy to test them out. All right, that is it for right now. Later on this week, I will be making some fall-themed cupcakes and a shepherd's pie. All right, I will talk to you all later. Bye.